I'm always late in submitting a post about this, whether it's written, and this year I wanted to make a video, but I'm always late for Bell Let's Talk. And that's mostly because I've been working each time Bell Let's Talk has come around and didn't have enough time the day before to prepare something or to write something up. And in this case, I didn't have time to uh, put my green screen up and do up the video like I'm doing right now. So, unfortunately, this won't count under Bell Let's Talk for the actual day, but I still think it's important for me to share about how I feel about having a day like Bell Let's Talk to raise awareness, to start to strike and even to change it in some ways the conversations about mental health, mental illness, and the like. I could tell you right now that if not for mental health professionals helping me through the greatest traumas of my life, especially in my recent adulthood and from my childhood growing up, I wouldn't be here today. Don't get me wrong. Of course, their family, close family, friends, trusted individuals amongst your social circle or familial circle that you could go to for help and support and a shoulder to cry on, an ear to listen to. Uh, but there is a different level of understanding, a different level of knowledge and things like that when it comes to a actual trained educated mental health professional, doctor, whoever. I remember being introduced to the idea of guidance counseling and talk therapy in the 6th grade, and it was a relatively new thing at the time, either for our school or just for in general society. But it was also new to us as kids because there were guidance counselors in high school that we would be meeting up with and we would be interacting with, and they wanted us to get, I guess, comfortable with the idea of being able to go to them and to have a counseling session if needed, whether something was bothering you with school, something was bothering you with home life, maybe you have complicated feelings about somebody in your class that maybe that at the 6th grade or 7th grade you may understand somewhat what's going on, but not really what's going on. There's those things and a whole bunch of other different things as well. But they wanted us to get used to the idea that there's going to be someone there that if you book a time with them and and everything, you could go see them, you could talk to them, whatever. And that included and that also includes like where you want to go and take your life and your career. There are great things about that, but it also includes getting down to some of the nitty gritty stuff in front of you that you're experiencing. And on one end, I I feel bad sometimes that I didn't understand how to take advantage of those resources when I had them when I was in high school and elementary school. But the one great thing that it did is that it allowed me to get used to the idea or to at least be acquainted with the idea of being able to do talk therapy with somebody and to process different feelings and things like that because that would come in handy. That would really, really come in handy in my recent adult years and the traumas that I've been through. And again, if you're listening to this, if you know, you know. It was honestly something that I never ever thought would happen to me, the traumas that I experienced, and the fallout of those traumas that I experienced. Didn't think that anything could hurt so bad. Didn't think that anything could feel so bleak. Didn't think that any situation could feel so deep in the well so deep in the pits of despair that it seemed like that there really wasn't any way out. And not only that, that was also compounded by the different childhood traumas that I had been through. And again, if you know, you know. But at least, at the very least, it was there. The talk therapy was there, the professionals were there. And I would suggest that if you do have some sort of employee assistance program within your benefits package at work, go and use that. It's not just about your eyes. It's not just about your teeth. It's not just about the pharmaceuticals that you need in order to get over a flu or to maybe you have arthritis or something like that. Maybe you've got a chronic thing that you have to manage. It's not just about the physical, but it's also about the mental. It's about what's going on here and it's going on here. And a day like this, a day like Bell Let's Talk, is so important because not too long ago, if you were suffering from mental illness, the first thing that would happen to you, they'd cart you off to a mental hospital, to what people used to call the funny farm. They thought you were crazy. You had a mental breakdown because of mental health issues and traumas that were coming forward and bubbling to the surface, and just so many complicated feelings. But back not too long ago, in the realm of human history, they thought you were crazy, and you weren't. You're not crazy. You just had some bad things happen to you, and you don't know, and you may not have known how to process them. And it all just bubbles up and just makes you break down. And I've felt that so many different times in my adulthood. I wish I didn't have to, but I did. But the great thing is, though, that when those things were overtaking me, when the personal demons were just too heavy to bear, and were just breathing down my neck and telling me, you suck, you suck, you suck, you deserve nothing. Why are you even doing this? Come to your senses. What the heck's wrong with you? That there was somebody, that there are people who understand the mind in a different way as a professional that the average person does not. And they can give you the practical things that you need in order to figure out what's going on. What are the choices? What you could do, and what choices that you can make in order to go forward, and in order to get that healing that you need, in order for you to be able to heal from that mental illness and those emotional hurts and scars that never really go away but are still there and are printed into the depths of your heart. But giving the practical ways to go about saying, you know what? Today I'm not okay, but I'm committing myself so that tomorrow that I will be more okay than I am today. Today I am okay. Today I'm not okay, rather, but tomorrow I will be. And you may think, there's some that may think, and it doesn't matter how old you are, whether you are 5 years old, 50 to 100 years old, or anywhere in between, you may think that you don't need something like this. You don't need talk therapy or mental health resources. Maybe you think that you don't need that I know, and this is coming from me, that I would think to myself, there are other people suffering harder than I am, physically, mentally, whatnot. But there are people out there that are suffering harder than me. And guess what? I would be right about that, because there's always going to be people better off than you. There are always going to be people that are worse off than you. I remember taking somebody, a lady, on an Uber trip. I was driving, and I was going to take her to a medical facility to where she would get treatment for whatever medical condition that she has or had or whatnot. And if you're watching this, miss, ma'am, I hope that you are successful in the treatments, and I hope you are doing well. And I hope that, I hope that you're smiling and you're alive just the day that you were still going through so much and you told me what you were going through, and you still had a smile on your face. And I thought to myself, my gosh, I feel so sorry, and I feel so sorry for her, but I also admire her because she can go about and face this head on and still have a smile on her face, no matter if she didn't know she was going to survive the treatments or whatever was ailing her or not. And after she told her story, I told her how much I respected her. And I told her, you know what? I am going through my own things too, but it seems so petty compared to what you're going through. Even though it was the worst trauma of my life. Uh, but she told me something that will always stay with me until the day I die. And that is, just because somebody seems to be suffering more than you does not mean that you are not suffering too. Don't discount your suffering just because somebody seems to have it worse. And that hit me really, really hard. And that even inspired me. It inspired me to go and get the help that I needed to overcome the trauma. Now, don't get me wrong, I've had to go to 3 different counselors, and sometimes some drop-in counseling as well. And it costs money, but it was worth it. It's worth it to be able to sit here in front of my camera today and talk into this microphone and tell you that if not for those people, the medical or the mental health professionals that helped me along the way, I wouldn't be sitting here and talking with you about this today. I'm eternally grateful to those people that helped me gain a sense of control, a sense of grounding, and gave me the tools to find that sense of healing. And I'm doing the things that I'm doing right now would never have been a possibility. It would never have been a possibility if I hadn't sought out the help that I needed Otherwise, I would have been stuck in my rut. Otherwise, I would have been stuck in my despair. I would have been stuck, maybe even worse than despair. Can't say that word because I'd probably get flagged on YouTube for it. But I'm leaving proof that it's important that this day and age, there is a greater understanding, a greater respect for mental health resources and for people who are struggling with their mental health. We're not crazy. That we're not lost causes. That we need somebody there to help get the things that are inside of us and communicate those things inside of us and bring them out of us by our words and our communication so that we can understand where we're at, so that we can understand how we can go about bringing about a better tomorrow. And that is why a day like this is so important. Changing the conversation about mental health concerns, it saves lives. It saved mine. And I thank those people who have helped me along the way. And that's why a day like this is so important. A day like this to help change the conversation, to break the stigma around mental illness, and for a greater focus on mental health. A day like this saves lives. Thank you for listening. Have a good night.